I just watched the second part of Bridgerton season 4 and I have thoughts, so let's talk about it. I just gotta say that nearly everything bad that I said in part 1, and it wasn't really bad, but the things that I said negatively about part 1 in my previous video, I take that back. I must say that I don't particularly care for when Netflix splits up their seasons, but when they do, oftentimes they do it pretty well. So here's why I think they did an excellent job with it. The way that they showed grief and longing in this season was phenomenal. I haven't felt much emotion from shows and TV shows lately, really like the last few years or so. And I must say, this is exactly what we needed, especially for a romance. We were able to see how much Francesca loved John and all of the regrets that she felt in the fact that she was not with Child. She had nothing left of him. We were also able to feel how much value Queen Charlotte had for Lady Danbury's friendship and how she would truly, truly miss her when she was gone. We also got to see how badly Lady Danbury longed to be in the motherland. She missed her home. Everybody gets homesick. We also got to see how deeply Benedict's love for Sophie ran. That man would do anything. I would cross the ocean for you. And I know I said before that he had no game. And quite honestly, I still don't really think he has game. but, but, but he didn't need it. And even with seeing how long he toyed with the fact that he might not be able to live up to Sophie's expectations, and to Anthony's point about how he might be the best brother of them all, I was like, okay, he kind of lived up to that because he did more than all the other brothers did. And he knew immediately that he loved Sophie. And so I think that that's better than everybody. Another thing I'll tell you, those were some of the steamiest love scenes. I was like, do y'all need a minute? I can step out. I also hope they were able to preserve that hardwood floor, baby. I love me some hardwood floors. And if you watch that scene, you probably screamed. One thing about Violet, people hated that she handled Lord, what's his name? Lord Anderson, the way that she did. And quite honestly, she could have handled it a lot better. But this is her first relationship post marriage, post her husband passing away. Mind you, it's been several years. However, I think that she needed the time to figure out what she really wanted in life. And to be honest, she did give him honesty. She told him the truth, which is more than a lot of people would do, instead of stringing him along any further. And then she also just wanted, this was the first time that she was alone. She did not necessarily want to be adjacent to or championing somebody else for a little while. And honestly, as a woman, I love that for her. And it's kind of the same side of the coin for Lady Danbury, because she spent so much time being the queen's lady in waiting, and she's like, I want to do something for me for once, because she also was helping Violet with all of her kids' matches, and it was just a lot for her. I know she was tired. Acting note, the way that Francesca was able to portray grief in that way, oh my goodness, it was absolute perfection. I also knew that Cressida would be back immediately as Lady Penwood. I knew it. And she's one of my favorite characters. And as far as who the new Lady Whistledown is, my money is on Lady Mondrick, because I think that she's going to know all the tea, because she's in the time, but then she can also bring it back to the queen. And so she'll know everything that's going on with the queen and whatnot. And I think this will be a very good match. And I know they had to change it because Julie Andrews is not getting any younger. And I was like, I wonder how many seasons they're going to have her do. So I'm sad, because why do all the greats have to get old and leave us, but it is what it is. That's like. And speaking of Lady Mondridge, I am so glad that Lady Danbury tricked her into becoming the new lady in waiting, because I think that it was a perfect match, because she is just, well, she's a little more conniving is too strong a word, but like cunning, I don't know, witty, clever. She's met her match, just like Lady Danbury had with Queen Charlotte. I think that was a very good pairing, and I think that she's really going to come into her own, considering the way that she ended that conversation with Lord Mondridge. One thing that I definitely wish they had done is give Araminta a greater fall from Grace. And I know that it made sense because they would have mutually ruined each other. However, I be wanting the villains to go away, but then they humanized her, which is good and bad in storytelling. I think that depending on the story, the humanization of characters is useful, but sometimes I just love a good villain that's just evil for no reason. But she had a reason. Her husband lied to her, so I understand. But maybe they did that because we'll see them again. Specifically Sophie's stepsister, I guess, but then also Araminta because they're neighbors now. All in all, y'all, I never thought that I would get here and say this. This was my favorite season. I I hate even saying it. It was my favorite season. It was really so cute, so loving, and yeah, they did a phenomenal job. I would give it a 5 out of 5 if I'm perfectly honest. This one got a 5 out of 5 for me because of the way that they wrapped it up in part two. But yeah, never thought we'd get here, but here we are. I loved it. What were y'all's thoughts?